So in today's video, we're going to learn what is supply and demand flip zone, how to identify them on the chart, and how to trade them. Okay, so there are some cases that supply zone, you just draw your supply zone, price will get into the supply zone, price won't respect to the zone, it will break the zone, come back and then drop. All right, so that is what we're going to study on this chart, learn how to build a strategy around these cases and find a way of trading it. All right. Supply and demand flip zone is a case whereby a supply zone will turn to a demand zone and vice versa. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to identify these things on the chart and how to go by building a strategy around this and then trading it and maximizing it to your full advantage. So let's go to the scenario of how these things happen. Let me show you, then we come to the live example and we know how to play by the rules and to trade it to our advantage. All right, so we have this example right here. This is our supply zone. This is our demand zone. Okay, this is our supply to demand flip, and this is our demand to supply flip. All right, so in a normal case, this is what we are expecting a demand zone to do. You see, we have price push from here. There is a breaker structure at the top here. All right, so we're expecting price to come into this low, demand low here. That is the zone, react to the zone, and then push to the upside, breaking this high. Okay. That is what we want a normal demand zone to do. Okay, but sometimes you see that price will drop, break the low, that is change character, and come back to the immediate supply zone that led to the change of character and drop to the downside. So in a normal case, this is what we call a supply zone. Okay, there should be a break of structure and price will change character down here, come back to the supply zone that led to the change of character and drop to the downside. This is what we call a normal supply zone. Okay, and a normal demand zone too, this is what we are expecting price to do. There is a push from up to the downside, price push up, push down, causing a break of structure down below here. Price will push up, change character. If there's a change of character, this is a scenario or this is an indication to us that price is trying to reverse. That is there is going to be a market structure shift when anytime there's a change in character. Okay, so there's a change of character, price push to the downside to the normal demand zone. That is, if there's a change of character, price is dropping, it changes character, we're expecting price to come to the normal demand zone and do what? And buy to the upside. So you can see price comes there and buy to the upside. Right, so this is what we're expecting a normal supply and demand zone to act like. But most of the time, you won't see these things. This is what you're going to see. Sometimes, let's see this. Price will push from here to the upside, drop, then there's a break of structure at the top. All right, price will break structure at the top here and we need to draw our demand zone. So in a normal case like this, we're expecting price to come and tap into the demand zone and push to the upside and break this high here. Okay, but most of the time price will come, tap into the zone, react to the zone, push a little up like it is trying to go and break this high here. Let me zoom in more. Price will come, react to the zone, price will come, then react to this zone, behave like it is trying to push up and break this high here, but it will push up a little, change character, that is break the zone, that is the demand zone, to the downside, push up and then drop. Okay, so this reaction needs to be there. For demand zone to turn to flip zone, you need to see this reaction. Okay, so you want to see price push up, that is breaking structure, coming into the demand zone, reacting like it is trying to push from there. That is, there has to be a little push up before price will break the zone and you push to the upside. That is the zone that led to the break of the demand. Okay, so that is where you draw your supply zone. Then when price comes there, you take yourself from there. So that is what we call a demand to supply flip zone. Okay, so we're expecting the zone to act as a demand zone, but when price comes there, there's a little reaction, price didn't break the high here, push to the downside, change character, come back to the high that led to the change of character and drop to the downside. So we're gonna go to the live example and we talk, we dive into it and you guys will learn how to apply this principle on the live chart. Okay, so now this is a supply zone turn to demand. Okay, supply to demand flip. So in this case, to the same thing, we're expecting, you can see price drop to the downside, push up, and there is a break of structure here. Okay, so if there's a break of structure, what do we expect? We expect price to come back into the demand zone and then tap into the zone, push to the downside and break this low here and continue doing this thing, lower high, lower low, and continue doing the lower high and lower low. But what happened? We didn't see that. We just saw price tap into the zone, react to the zone. The reaction is key. You need to see reaction. That is, you want to see price tap into the zone, behave like it is trying to push up, break this low. But what happened? It rather changes character, push to the upside. All right, so you take your demand zone, that is, there has been a flip around here. Okay, price changing from supply to demand. Okay, we're expecting price to push, break this low here, but it didn't happen. We saw price push from there to the upside, changing character and coming back to the demand zone. That is the zone that led to the change of the character, tapping and push to the upside. Okay, so very simple, straightforward. Let's dive into the live example. Let's apply this principle. All right, so let's take this area for our first example. You can see this is the supply zone from the higher time frame. And normal case, we're expecting price to come and tap into the supply zone and do what? And start dropping to the downside. That is the normal, the normal case. All right, and let's see what is going to happen. If price taps into the zone and react to the zone like it is trying to drop and breaks the zone, that means there has been a flip, like what we just talked about right now. So let's play price and let's see what is going to happen with this supply zone right here. So now you can see price has approached the zone, tap into the zone. So what are we expecting as a supply zone to do? We want to see supply zone react to price, push price to the downside. That is what we want to see a normal supply zone do. Price tap into the zone like this. Price tap into the zone like this. We want to see a normal supply zone push from here to the downside. That is what we want to see a normal supply zone does. And if there's a reaction around here, price drop a little to the downside and start pushing up, then that means that the supply zone has turned to a demand flip. So now you can see we have a reaction, a little reaction. Price tried to drop. You can see. Let's go to the 15 minutes. Let's see. All right, guys. So we had the reaction. Price tap into the zone. A little reaction, like it was trying to push to the downside. But what is happening? It seems price want to break the zone. So let's see if price will break the zone or react to the zone and drop to the downside, like what a normal supply zone would do. So we saw price break the zone. Okay, so price has break this zone right here. And if this thing happens, we need to take the low that led to this this zone breakout. So we take this low. This was the low that led to this zone breakout. So we take this whole low like this to be a demand flip. That is a supply to demand flip. So we just need to, let me label this. Let me change this to demand zone. So we have this demand flip zone right here because that was the low that led to this price breaking through the supply zone. Okay, so the next move is we're expecting price to come and tap into this zone and we buy from there because the supply zone failed to do its job. So let's see. Now we see price taps into the zone. You can buy from here or you can expect for another change of character inside the zone. All right, so we see price taps into the zone. What is going to happen? Let me extend this like this. All right, so this is supposed to be the zone. That was the low of the zone. Okay, so this, let's see what is going to happen. All right, now you can see price taps into the zone, change character here. So this is where your entry should be. Price break this high here. All right, so price break this high here. Okay, and comes back into the zone. All right, so your entry should be a confirmation around here. That is, let's see, price, you can see price start rejecting from there. So this place is going to be your entry like this. Your entry should be here, somewhere here. And stop loss will be here. The zone. Then you target 1:1 or 1:2 or 1:3. Something like this. You see what is happening. Alright, so we have price smash TP right there. You can see price smash TP right there. So we have a TP smash. We have a TP smash right there. You can see TP smash right here. Okay. Alright, so we have this our demand zone right here. That is our next example. This is the demand zone that we're expecting price to tap in and do a job like the normal demand zone does. Okay, so we're expecting price to come into the zone, tap into the zone like this, and push to the upside and break this high here. Okay, so that is what we're expecting this zone to do, because there's a change of character around this place. So price change character around this area here, you can see. So we're expecting price to come and tap into this demand zone and push to the upside and break this high here. Okay, that is what we're expecting this demand zone to do. And what happens? So we saw price tap into the zone, behaves like it was trying to push up. So let's see if price will push from here to the upside or it will break the zone. Remember, we need a reaction. Okay, we want to see price taps into the zone and behave like it is going. If price comes into the zone and break the zone massively, then it is going to behave its normal way. It will come back to the supply zone around here and drop. But if it taps into the zone and behave like it is trying to break the zone, that is where we're going to see a flip. So you can see there's a reaction. Price try to push up. What happened? Let's see if it's trying to break or it's trying to go up. Look at the massive drop. All right. So we see price drop massively. There was a reaction around here. Look, the reaction is important. All right. This reaction here is important. This validates the zone. This makes the zone valid. Now there has been a break. So what are we expecting? We want to see price comes into this supply zone here. This is a flip. So this place becomes the flip. That is, we take the whole base to be the flip. And now you put your, let me label, this one supply zone. All right, so now we're expecting price to come into the zone and we take this from there to the downside because there has been a flip. Let's see, price will come. Now you can see we have a tap into the zone. All right, now if this thing happens, you can scale down to the 5 minutes or the 1 minute and look for your change of character inside the zone like this and sell the trade to the downside. Can go down. Stop loss is going to be here. Remember, this flip zone is not going to work every time. That is why most of the time you need to scale down to the smaller time frame for another change of character or for trade confirmation before you take any trade using this approach. All right, now you can see price pushing all the way to the direction. All right, so this is how to trade flip zone, demand and supply flip zone. Okay, a situation whereby demand zone will turn a supply and also a supply zone will turn a demand. Okay, so backtest this and apply this to your trading or how you trade. Okay, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you are new here, and I'll see you guys in my next video.